Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're back with the Goblins. The Greenskins going to be taking on our hated enemy, the Dwarves, so let's get straight to it. As you can see, I've gone with an all-Vanguard Gobbo list to help negate my opponent's artillery. We've got a front line of Night Goblins with Fanatics out on the flanks. Over on this side are the two regiments of Renown. In the center are four nasty skulkers. Everybody's got lots of XP chevrons. We've also got a bit of a firing squad here, Night Goblin archers with the rusty airs, all overloading on this left flank. We've also got some squig hoppers over on this side, a couple more squig hoppers over on this side, including, of course, the Durkit squigs. We've also got the Moon Howlers, Morgre's Mangy Marauders, and the Tifraba's Chariot, led, of course, by the Vanguard Lord himself, the Goblin Great Shaman. For spells, we've got Sneaky Stabbin', Itchy Nuisance, and Curse the Bad Moon, as well as Arcane Conduit and Crown of Command. For the Dwarves, he's got two Hammerers, front line of some Dwarves, Dwarf Warriors, that is. Of course they're Dwarves. Miners, he's got some Thunderers here. Looks like Thorgrim Grudgebear, Runesmith. He's got a cannon, couple Slayers, more Thunderers in the back, and another Dwarf Warrior. So Thunderers already opening up shots onto the Gobbos in the center line. You can see them taking some serious fire here. And yeah, we're going to pop the Wah to get that speed and charge bonus buff right on the charge here. You can see the Chariots already rolling through, and with the Wah, these guys have just insane amounts of speed here. Going to come crashing straight into the Thunderers there, doing some good shock damage and pulling straight into the back line immediately. And you can see all across the line here, Gobbo's getting into the fray. The firing squad going to be focusing on the Hammerers, obviously, since they have no missile block chance. We should be able to get some good work done. Gobbo's also firing up and casting some Fanatics through the blob there. Anywhere we can that I remember to, we're going to be trying to cast those Fanatics. You can see here, we do some good damage, but also do some brutal friendly fire that's actually going to rout off those two Skulkers in the center. So, a bit of RNG, as of course Gobbos are meant for, but looks like the Grumbling Guard in here as well. Thorgrim supporting the front line. Slayers are going to come in, and the Goblins are going to lose in the center. However, you can see over on this flank, this unit of Hammers is getting completely isolated here, getting the Alpha Strike from the Gobbos, just completely swarmed here. Squigs, Skulkers, the two regiments of Renown, and we also unleash Curse the Bad Moon right in this pocket here, and fortunately for me, my opponent did move out of the way, but the Curse of the Bad Moon is going to chase those Thunderers, apply that nice debuff, and do some okay damage to them as well. Nothing crazy to write home about, but applying that debuff is going to be nice. The Hammers and the Dwarf Warriors over here are shattered. You can see the Rusty Airs now turning their attention to the Grumbling Guard, as the Hammers over on this side had been dealt with as well. You can see them routing off. Some Squigs coming back from out on the far side. You can see these Squigs having circled all the way around. Going to try and get in and get on the ranged units. Of course, these Thunderers are definitely a priority target, so anytime I can get in on them, we are going to do so. Same thing with this cannon here. You can see these Dwarves, unfortunately, though, still secure, as the Durkit Squigs, which is not quite enough, unfortunately. These are not actually Durkit Squigs, but anyway, the Tifrabas are still rolling around, still have 4 unit models online, doing some good damage here. You can see Thorgrim is fighting in this pocket, and I'm using the this engagement here because the Gobbo Great Shaman is not at a whole lot of risk. He can kind of stand in here and recharge his Wah. Thorgrim, though, will come through and lay a smacking on him, so he's going to have to pull back from that engagement, unfortunately. That being said, Thorgrim is isolating himself a bit here. Once those Grumbling Guard and Slayers are gone, we should be able to deal with them. The Gobbo firing squad is going to be chased off by some Slayers here, the Dragonback Slayers, so we're going to go ahead and pull them back. Meanwhile, over here, these Dwarf Warriors will eventually win out against the Night Goblins, but the Night Goblins will make a decent showing of it. And the Tifrabas here, definitely having a lot of fun. We'll go ahead and just go for a ride along with them for a minute. They're going to go ahead and charge these Hammers that the Night Gobbo Shaman had been firing. Yet, again, I've got to keep him in melee to recharge that Wah. Looks like popping off another spell there. Is that going to be another Curse of the Bad Moon? Nope. Looks like just some smoke bombs going off, and oh man, the Chariots go down just about to the Thunderers there, so we're going to go ahead and charge up the hill and try and silence them. You can see this mainline engagement, the Dwarves are starting to be worn down. Gobbo leadership being what it is, though, we've got quite a few rallying units that we're going to bring back in for a bit of a second wave here. The Dwarves have pushed back a lot of the Dwarves, or sorry, the Goblins' assault here, but the Durkit Squigs, these actually are the Durkit Squigs. You can tell because they have the funny hats. But anyway, yeah, they're going to get in here and finish off these Thunders. The cannon crew's offline. We've got Fanatics going through these Dwarf Warriors over here before the Goblins themselves follow back up. So, yeah, here comes the second tier 1, right in time for kind of a second push here. You can see these Dragonback Slayers getting finished off by the Goblin Archers and the Moon Howlers, who had been neglected pretty much the whole battle, along with the Mangy Marauders, are going to come in the late game here and get some work done. And try and finish off a lot of these very tattered Dawi units in this pocket here, along with, of course, the 8-peak Loonies, who, since they are unbreakable, have been fighting this entire time. And yeah, with these Hammers gone, the Dwarf Warriors gone, Thorgrim's finally going to be isolated here. You can see the balance power starting to turn against the Dawi, and the Gobbo firing squad started to turn its attention to these Thunders here. They're out on the flanks, they're taking fire. It's most uncomfortable for them. They're returning fire, but yeah, the Moon Howler's going to come in, clean them up. Moon Howlers do apply fear, so they easily rout off those tattered troops, and with that, it's pretty much going to be GG for the Dwarves here. Got a little bit of leadership left with Thorgrim and some of these other guys, but yeah, pretty much all their units have been finished off. It's just this heroic Dawi core, which is often the case, you know, Dawi leadership, it being what it is, their heroic units tend to stick around until the late game, and unless you specifically snipe them, which is, you know, definitely easier said than done, especially with just a Goblin Horde. But this time ended up being pretty effective, and yeah, Dwarves ended up bringing some elite units that ended up costing them, I think. The two Hammerers in particular, you know, I kind of get them as a response to Black Orcs, which are pretty common in this matchup, but they ended up being a little bit of a liability here just because my opponent didn't have enough unit models. You can see I had way more units than him. Besides having more unit models, which I did, you know, to a pretty large degree, I also just had more units straight up. So these Hammers, you know, they kind of just got swarmed and dragged down without getting a whole lot of kills themselves, which is really, really rough. If he had swapped these Hammers out for more Dwarf Warriors and Miners with blasting charges in particular, could be quite good at clearing out the Gobbo chaff. But, yeah, the Thunders, you know, I understand the pick. You do need something to be able to deal with Black Orcs and Cannons. Always a good pick as the Dawi, especially on that map. But, you know, the all Vanguard is meant to kind of negate my opponent's artillery. So the Cannon, while it did get some shots in, wasn't as effective as it could have been since I didn't have to march all the way across the map there. Thorgrim himself, 74 kills. Not a bad pick in this matchup, honestly, to buff up your troops. 56 kills for the Runesmith himself. You can see a lot of kill totals, 87, 91, 110, 83, 82 for the Dragonback Slayers. A lot of kills, but that's to be expected against a Gobbo Horde here. You can see the kills for the Gobbos just nicely spread out all across the board here. 39, 33, you know, Skulkers 22, 30, only 8 for this one. I think these are the guys that got hit by the friendly Fanatics there, but 52. The other Gobbos did pretty well as well. You know, the Gobbo Archers all carried their weight. The Squig Hoppers all did quite well. The 27 kills in the T-Frobbers also, and not to mention the disruption they cause in and of itself is pretty key, especially in shutting down these missile units in particular. But very fun battle. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. In terms of the army breakdown for the Dwarves, just going into a little bit more depth, in terms of countering that all Vanguard list, which, you know, definitely is pretty powerful, and not only against the Dwarves, but for other factions, but we're going to focus on countering that specifically with the Dwarves, using a similar build to what my opponent had. So, Thorgrim, I'm not 100% sure what buffs he had, but Oath of Vengeance, going to be pretty good to have, that minus 27 melee defense on a single target. Of course, High King, this is an interesting one, so it's an odd one because if Thorgrim's leadership is, if his health is greater than 50%, this won't go off, but it only affects friendly units if their leadership is above 50%. So typically when Thorgrim's getting low on health, your other units have either already taken a lot of damage or are getting, you know, low on leadership or low on health. So I would probably cut this one. It's pretty situational and you'll rarely get value from it. Stand Your Ground is another one too. Dawi already have pretty good leadership and melee defense. You may not necessarily want to take that. Foe Seeker can be good if you need to get around quickly, but since you're a dwarf, you don't really need to. But Great Book of Grudges and the Oath of Vengeance are the two that I would recommend there. Runesmith's always a good idea as well. In terms of the runes, the 10% AP might be good, but in particular I would say the Rune of Wrath and Rune and the Rune of Negation are going to be the ones you want to go for. Hammer of Karak Draz can be very useful here as well to help counter some of the melee attack buffs the Greenskins can throw out. Gives a nice area of effect. Sorry, no, it's only a single target. Still though, minus 44 melee attack can be pretty decent. For now we'll cut that though. And in terms of the infantry corps, you know, the Dwarf Warriors, not a bad idea of course. I'm going to go ahead and add in the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers. I almost always pick these guys because they have full 90 unit models and 86 melee defense, meaning they're pretty much the unmovable rock. They also have expert charge defense and of course some blasting charges as well, so quite powerful unit in this matchup. I would definitely recommend them. And then in terms of countering the all Vanguard thing, obviously we don't want to bring any artillery. Granted, you can't really know that this is coming per se, so you do want to have the tools to deal with certain other units. The Thunderers are not a bad pick, but personally I like Bugman's Rangers a little bit better. If they can focus fire still on Black Orcs and do okay, they don't have the best AP values, but certainly they can do well enough. And then with Thorgrim's buffs in particular, we can grab some miners with blasting charges. Ekrim's miners with their extra combat stats here might be pretty decent as well. The Frenzy in particular makes them pretty decent to have. So we've got a solid line there. We probably want some Slayers as well to help drag down, you know, Squig Hoppers, stuff like that. So this is already looking pretty solid. We've still got about 600 points here to play with, so you could do some various things. A Bolt Thrower might be some nice insurance to have, just, you know, so you have some artillery, and its shorter range means that you won't lose out quite so much if your opponent does choose to go with an all Vanguard. This list would definitely be a bit weaker against something like a Black Orc Rush, but I do feel like you might have the tools to deal with it. You could even, if you're really worried about not having enough AP, you could even swap one of these Bugman's Rangers out for the Ulthar's Raiders, who do have the AP missiles. You know, they could help deal with like a Spider or Black Orcs or different things. They have the Marked by Ulthar as well, which gives minus 30 armor, so, you know, they can help your Bugman's Rangers do better against the armored targets as well, so might be worth swapping them in, certainly. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, though. Again, I'm not necessarily a Dwarf main, so I can't speak to what would be the ideal build per se, but just kind of fine-tuning what my opponent had there. This is what I would change up. Change the Thunderers for Bugman's Rangers, change the cannon out for Bolt Thrower, change the Hammers out for some Miners, and the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe. Did you know I have a guides playlist? Yeah, I have got a playlist with a bunch of guides in it, so just thought I'd remind you so you can check that out, those of you who are new and still learning the game. And yeah, we will see y'all next time.